So if you yourself has ever experienced any depression, or you're not sure if you're in a depression, you just don't feel like you're yourself, you're confused, maybe you don't feel like yourself anymore, if then this video is absolutely for you. If you're a person who considers yourself a professional in the mental health field, this video is even more so for you, because I'm talking from two different perspectives here and an understanding of I'm using myself as an example in what I've had to do and what has been done to me, but I'm also, this has been my process of healing of both. So one of the things is, all right, oh my God, I'm coming on camera, right? Why do I have this on my face, right? Is that what you're paying attention to? Maybe, because it's easily distracting. As a former spokesperson, to show up on a camera, right? Generally, to show up on camera and to get people's proper attention, to pay attention to the message. Either something's going to go over it, right? So that they're only listening to the words, or, right, somebody shows up and you're looking professional on camera. I don't look quite for professional, do I? I look pretty insane. And that's kind of my point. And one of the things that I want to talk about, because I've been in a clinical, severe, extremely severe depression for the last solid 5 years. Okay. So I had to first understand what that was and what that meant for myself. And then what was done to me, the truth by the medical professionals in ruining my life, very real, that they have not made up for. However, my mentality and the type of person I am is not the type to go, okay, then that means all doctors are bad or all medical professionals are bad. No, but I am educating them, because the truth is, my entire life, they've failed me. My entire life. And then because of the background that I've had working with so many different people, and that's where I said, I welcome you to do an investigation on this, right? And who this would link to in my life, because then you go, wait a second, this girl is actually for real. But when you're speaking to a doctor and you're looking just crazy, are they listening to you, or are they blocked by their own prejudice? But that would be the point to anybody in the world. And the people that don't believe depression is real, depression is not something, a sadness you can just break out of. It is more than that. And it is, I've learned, the body needing deep rest, but you cannot play the character you are playing anymore. So I had done a photo shoot, and that's like a different person. And you feel good for a little bit, and then you don't. And I, had done a video and speaking about that, because when in comparison, and it's like, what are the base things that you have that goes into making yourself feel good? But when your worth is attached to your appearance, that's one thing. People that haven't so really understood that would have a hard time, whether it be within their household, that's been the focus, and then add for myself, is it sexual abuse, and then victim of sex crimes, etc., etc. There's so much link to it, but then wait, that's all my value is, but I don't then. And then being surrounded by people who make you feel bad, though, if you want to actually better yourself and do well for yourself, and they take from you. I saw a post this morning, it was something to do with, if somebody loves you, make sure that you're doing all you can to love them. And I did that. Like, that's actually how I lived. The problem is I had to realize the people that loved me, or their version of love, didn't allow me to be a person. And that's the truth of where we're at in real life right now, on where I'm going. My depression is coming from the fact there's been no justice. However, I've had to understand I'm the real victim, but I don't like victim mentality. And the people that continuously, and that's why I backed away from people as best I can, especially the ones who caused the problem, because you play victim, they don't recognize the role in what they've done. And that's kind of the representation. And even when I'm speaking to the medical professionals here, when are you going to realize and it's like, quote unquote, man up to what you've done? And that's why I've triggered, and I'm doing this in whatever platform, so people can, so if I post this onto YouTube and it only gets a little bit of views, okay, that's one channel. Just think about that for a second. I found this letter, and it's interesting because I have to say this because of what happened, and the injustice has just gotten out of control. I found this letter in particular. This was from April 18th, 2018. To whom it may concern, on behalf of the patient, me, with her consent, I am writing to inform you that Candace suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder due to a past experience of sexual abuse at gunpoint, and this situation in Jamaica triggered her PTSD symptoms. As a result, she's unable to travel to Jamaica. At the time, I was working for an employer who I'll name nameless, but the situation in this message, I've had to, like, the lifetime of abuse and injustice. I had no memory before February of 2020, so when my memory came back, it was like a flooding, right, of different things that I couldn't control, and that's what I'm and the mind and body almost like coming together. But because of the traumas I had, made me, okay, I look insane. Well, so on the flip side, if you've been a person, you've been through the abuse, you've been through, it's like ultimate responsibility though too, that you have to understand yourself. You don't, so that's where the difference of playing victim versus, yes, you were the victim. So like myself, yes, you were the victim. Okay, but we still have to take responsibility and understanding of that. Okay, now you're in injustice, so you're in extreme anger. That's where I'm at, and it's keeping me sick. So I actually understand that. But I also, what I do every single day, there isn't a day of my life that I'm not in gratitude and doing something else for the world. What I do and how I give that, that's my business. Because, and I say that because I don't do things for the attention of other people, that I'm a good person. That's what I have to realize. That's like my penance in the way I've been, because I have so much integrity. I just didn't understand that before. But we also are imperfect. So when you feel angry or you do something or you believe that thing to be wrong and you do something, there's a crash from that. Whatever that is and what representation. For myself right now, it's as simple as eating or overeating or binge eating, because I'm telling myself I'm not good enough unless I look a certain way. Well, I want to, so that's the pull, right? So I want to be my best self. I want to look good. I want to feel good. There's also this part of me, and that's like the bipolar switch of, oh, I just want to be gross and whatever because I don't have the energy for this. Now I want to eat. Okay, there's a crap, because the belief around that, I'm not good enough. So my real life, that's where the difference of two, being behind a camera, and this is where when I had video, like I was a professional fitness model, bikini, etc., but there's a protection layer of who's around you and what that goes out. Oh no, but she must be doing XYZ. Right? That's the perception. Okay, the next perception though, right? I'm not looking good, I'm whatever. But in real, like sometimes in real life that would be okay. But what's the issue that I know I'm facing right now? I have zero social life. I can socialize with people, it's my skill, but I'm antisocial. So that's a skill. If you're very antisocial, you have to learn, but you'll crash from. That's just a skill I learned. That's the insecurity. So I haven't had, after what happened to me, without getting into the details, but five, that's the depression, right? After, it's like rejection and different things that I'm having to work through. But that's why, like, I want in my life to have a healthy, real relationship with a partner. I do, but I can't because I'm unhealed and angry because of what happened to me while I'm working through that process. And part of that process is trying to get justice. Because to take advantage of a mentally ill person, especially when they were nothing but loyal, loving, and faithful, is their sickness. But you wouldn't see it that way if you've been in a like narcissistic abuse. They would make you believe it's, and that's the thing that comes to your core. So the responsibility of that, but I never want to, if you can't say, it's like, I know, so if a man were to say all women are cheaters and complain about women, well, why are you attracting that? Take responsibility, because I would say to you, as the most loving, faithful person on the planet, and that even in my head, I wouldn't cheat. And I only showed respect. So you'd be wrong with that perception. Okay, so if I believe that about men the other way, I'd be wrong, right? You see, that's what I'm trying to say with the doctors. So that's perception. Why do we attract what we attract? We bring to life the subconscious of what we believe. So that's the responsibility. So in the process of this, I'm healing. But the anger is from the injustice, okay, but also that is bringing different energies to me, which I understand. And, you know, my issue is because of lack of love, and that's where my low self-worth comes from, and where I'm easily manipulated. And a lot of people are like that are helpers, but you have to take responsibility and understand you're never going to be loved by everybody. That's not possible, and it's actually dangerous to think that way. So you have to learn to love yourself, and that's the hardest process. So that's where I'm at. So I just saw a picture, one of the pictures from the shoot that came up, and the first thing I see, because it's the difference of, and that's the irony. So the difference of this and me doing this, and it's like a healing, and I look like crap, and I put the things on, then because it's about the message, I don't care. Soon as it's a modeling thing I see, and the way the picture is, all I did, picked apart my body, and then it actually crashed me and made me depressed. I look to myself, I pick apart my body, I'm not pretty enough, I look fat, that's what goes in my head. So that's what I'm trying to say, is the understanding of the dialogue. So if somebody else were to tell me I'm pretty, it doesn't matter. If I don't feel that way, it doesn't matter. Okay, well, why am I only valuing that? That's shallow, and right, it is, but it's also, you want to feel good and not feel bad about that either. So that's the difference too, of people needing to understand what's your base privilege that goes into these things, because as soon as you lose that, the shift of the ability to do the things that you were doing as a base will change, and that would change a person's core addiction. My core addiction happens to be this, right, the obsessiveness in this thing with food, which I lost, and that's the thing why I'm healing my own eating disorder. So I do not have, I have the brain of an anorexic and the body dysmorphia, but I'm not anorexic, that I restrict food or anything like that, and I'm not bulimic, and I eat healthier than most. What's the issue? The obsession around it. But I did not have that when I believed I was loved. When I believed I was loved. That's the difference of when you, okay, but that's giving your power away. I had to learn I've never loved myself. I've never been happy in my entire life. That's the truth. It's not what it looks like though. That's why I would call myself a master illusionist, but I'm not a magician. My skill is pretending to be well. That's pride. And so many people have that. And that's the issue, is who are we putting a mask on for to present? Okay, when do we get to recharge and be ourselves? But if we don't ever learn who ourself is, how are we ever going to attract the right person? So for those of you trying to figure out this thing with the mental illness things, and that's what my challenge to you, if you've only studied it and been privileged to study it, but you haven't looked at yourself, and you just think you're separate to your patients, I want you to explore that this is a statement that I'm trying. The number one disease on the planet is narcissism, which creates every other disease. And anyone with the mentality that doesn't believe that every human on the planet is mentally ill, that's a problem, because that's the shift in abuse of power. And the reason I'm ill is the people that have used and abused their power over me, which has created also physical illnesses. That's why different people have different types of illnesses. I've spent the last solid 5 years in an obsession with it. That's what's kept me alive, as I've had suicidal thoughts every day. The things I do that I don't need to share with the world on what I've done, but I did them. I'd be dead if I didn't. And going to get help in 2020, the damage that was done to my life has not been fixed. So again, I welcome the investigation. If you challenge, if you don't believe what I'm saying, use more resources to figure out what I'm really saying. Because again, if you're only looking at what you see, well, that's only one dimension and small-minded. If you're only listening to what I'm saying, you're missing what I'm saying. And that's what I believe the world is a reflection, right? What you notice in me has everything to do with you, ironically, nothing to do with me. But we all have to learn that so that we understand. It's the people that have an attitude, oh, I can just do what I want when I want. You live in a world with other people. That's ignorant. You have to learn respect. So the first responsibility is, though, learning that you are worthy too, though, of boundaries. So the people that then on the other side, why do they get things and you don't? I believe in earning things. However, I've earned and people have benefited, yet I'm the one left without anything. Okay, well, you got to fight for it back. I am. On a much higher level now. Because I am incapable of only thinking of my own situation and myself. And that's what I've had since I was a child. And that is my greatest blessing. I believe that's a responsibility because of the visions I have. Call it a spiritual one or a calling that I can't ignore. Believe whatever you want to believe. That's fine, because I would never ever try to tell anybody to believe in something higher than themselves. I believe it to be a God. That's your own. But if you're not thinking of other things, and in that the fact you live in a world with other people, and you're only one-dimensional, and you can't see you're a narcissist, you probably shouldn't have your job.
And leading the world to space helped America achieve new heights of prosperity here on Earth, while demonstrating the power of a free and open society. to harness the ingenuity of its people.
Are you truly, truly, truly committed to yourself? And I mean really committed to yourself. Are you ready to actually take your own life seriously and be responsible for yourself? Are you saying, well, I already am? Well, great. Well, then let's challenge you